Hi, welcome seniors. We are on the home stretch of the school year and also getting ready for our AP exams. And as I know many of you are excited about, you're on the home stretch of finishing your Shakespeare multi-genre project. I'm going to go through all that and give you some examples, some real life teacher examples of what the multi-genre project looks like when it's completed. And let's just jump right into our calendar, right? Like we've been doing. So just to refresh, right? This is where we've been last week. You did your last genre of choice, genre 5. You should have gotten feedback if you finished genre 4. If you haven't, again, no time like the present to catch up. You've got, by my count now, 8 different pieces of writing if you look at your turned in folder, if you turned everything in. So you're in great shape for this last step, which is, kind of putting everything together. Um, the other thing I want to note is, right, if we look, let's see. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. You're looking at the juniors calendar, which is like, what? That's weird. Senior calendar, right? So you've got your fifth genre in. And then over the weekend, you all were taking FRQ 2. Okay, so you've got, you should have 2 FRQs done. If you haven't, again, no time like the present to catch up. One of them should have been the cherry bomb one, and the other was the one that started out with gentlefolks. It was from the 19th century by Wilkie Collins. Um, Again, the more that you practice those FRQs, the better you're going to be for the AP exam. Okay, so this was last week, right, for us, for AP English. And then if we track down here, here's our plan for the week, right? So, like I said, our goal is to finish up the Shakespeare multi-genre project this week, right? We've got a deadline of May 8th, Friday, by 11:59. Y'all can handle that. Like I said, you've already done 8 different pieces. You're gonna be weaving them together this week. So today I'm gonna show you some samples from your teachers of the multi-genre project. We've all been doing one this spring. And your main thing you're gonna do right now is you're gonna read over all that you've got, figure out, how do I want to put these together? How do I want to sequence this? And then you're going to create a letter to your reader, right? Which is something you did already for the poetry synthesis essay, so you're clear on how to do that. And your assignment for today is going to be to choose at least one student and me as your teacher to share the Google Doc draft by this Wednesday, right? It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's what you've got, what you've put together. I'm not going to give feedback to each and every student, but I just want to be copied on it so I can see the kind of reviews you're giving to each other later this week. And I'll give you more guidance on how to do those peer reviews later in the week. So that's really our game plan. And then Friday, just to reiterate, it's really important you stay up with the FRQ practice. So we'll do our last FRQ practice leading up to, next Wednesday the 13th, which is going to be your AP exam, right? So some of you have been really keeping up with those practices. Others are a little behind. So wherever you are at that, get a grip, get into the practices because that's really going to be necessary to do well on the exam. All right. So let's talk about Shakespeare multi-genre. If you go on Schoology, and I invite you if you want to pause the recording just to do that, you go on Schoology and you go into our Shakespeare multi-genre project folder, you will notice, in addition to all the docs we've been using for the last couple of weeks, you now have some additions. Teacher models. Whoa, very cool. Okay, so you've got 4 of your English teachers, including me, who've done multi-genre projects. Now, I'm not including my work on the Shakespeare multi-genre project because I don't want you to copy me. So I've given you my completed multi-genre project for the juniors and 3 teacher multi-genre projects that they've been doing with their classes. So this is multi-genre stuff. I've infected the English department with it. Everyone's trying it out, and they're doing a great job with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you the rubric that we have for our class and then just show you some samples of the different parts so you can really get a picture from these 4 different multi-genre projects. So you have this, right? If you scan up, the multi-genre rubric is right there. So let me open it and just refresh our memory. You're going to have an original, illustrative, surprising title. You're going to have a letter to the reader. You're going to have repetends, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. Surprising, moving, effectively uniters of different pieces in the essay. It's going to be well edited, and you're going to have at least one of those three different categories: functional, creative, informational, in addition to your research analysis. So basically, you've got a letter, and you've got three of these, and your research analysis. So a total of 5 pieces that are then going to be woven together with what you decide for these repetends. And I said at least 2 end notes, right? So you can study this in more detail. Let me give you some examples of what this could look like, right? So, here we go. This is kind of cool. Let me make sure that, yeah, this is showing you. So here's Miss Claudia Martinez's multi-genre project. Nothing can scare us, how friendship begets courage. And she's really reflecting on the book It by Stephen King and its connection to scary moments in our lives, right? Ms. Sitzer really thinking about COVID-19 and her own life right now. Community and isolation, a literary and creative response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Really cool. Mine's called Hi Teacher, Bye Teacher. Why do teachers walk away? What makes them return? As many of you know, I stepped away from teaching for 2 years when I was living in Chicago. So it's a reflection on that, and just also connecting to the issue of teacher burnout in general. And then Miss Darcy Miller, if you don't know, huge Vikings fan, the Minnesota Vikings through the years, right? So very different topics, and you all have, you have set aside the topic of a Shakespeare play, but you can approach it in lots of different ways. So you can think about, how do I want to structure, sort of the title and my thinking about it, right? But we said that all of them are going to have some kind of a repetend, right, or something that unites the different pieces. So I'll start with mine first just to show you what that might look like, right? Oh, actually, before that, let me bounce back here. So repetends, just so we're clear on what it is, are surprising, creative, moving, and effectively unify the multiple pieces and genres together. And look what these could be. It could be poems, dialogue, quotes. That's what we all used as like little epigraphs for the poetry synthesis essay. Song lyrics, diary, images, graphical elements. All those could be examples of things that unite the different pieces. So let me share with you what I chose to do, right? So if you look at mine and you go to my table of contents, right, you can see, right, that I've got, here's my letter to the reader. I've got an advice column. I've got research analysis. I've got another poem. And what I decided as I was doing this is I actually wanted to use dialogue as a way to connect the different pieces. So when I stepped away from teaching, I actually took the time to interview different people who are important. This is my letter. Different people who are important to me at Cristo Rey from before I'd left. So I interviewed them, and I actually included those interview transcripts as part of my multi-genre essay. So I've got one with a former student and alum, Brandon Williams. Further on, I've got one with, there's my research analysis. Where is it? No. This is live, folks. Oh, here we go. Yeah, one with Maceo Montoya, an author I really admire. And one with Byrne, Emily Byrne as well, Miss Byrne. So these are 3 different pieces that were acting as repetends between my different genres. That was more of like definitely a text-based repetend. You can see Mr. Czaia loves to write, a lot of text there, not a ton of graphics. But if you look at, say, Ms. Martinez, right, she really leaned into image as a repetend. So if you go through this, right, she's got memes, she's got posters, she's got these blog post sightings. Check it out, right? So she's got her letter to the readers. Here she's got a drawing. There she's got some graphical elements of quotes. Here she's got these memes, images here, poster. So her repetend, I would say, would be the image, right? That's kind of what consistently is woven through. And I would say similarly for Ms. Miller, right? She's got a number of different images of Vikings things. Like she's got Viking images here. Here's like different, images of like a potluck at a Vikings party. She's got images of her family surrounded with Vikings. So that's a really common one. You could, like I said, also use quotes, right? I know some of you have been kind of thinking about the Shakespeare play in terms of like, what if I was writing a diary from a different character's perspective? And you might have like between every different piece, you've got like a different diary entry. You could have, yeah, quotes from the play. If you found yourself returning to a genre again and again, right? Maybe you're weaving that, you're dropping little pieces of it throughout. It's really your choice, and I'll be pretty liberal with the way that I grade that. But I just want there to be something that's kind of, the glue that sticks it together, right? So I would just spend some time, looking through each of these and just see kind of what the different teachers, what we have chosen to kind of unify it. But honestly, like I said, I'm going to be pretty liberal with my grading because I want you to have some more freedom. And it's one of the reasons I'm not showing you my Lear essay, because I don't want you to try to copy what I've done. I want you to see like a variety of examples and get creative for yourself. Okay. So that was repetens, right? And that's probably one of the trickiest ones to kind of get your head around. But basically, like I said, again, the whole point is this idea of unifying. Remember that the standard is synthesize. So you do the work now of kind of putting them together. Okay. We talked about title. Letter to the reader is pretty much, it's identical to what I was asking you to do with the poetry synthesis essay. So it's really, you're inviting us into the world of your essay. You're sharing about your play, what you think about it, what are people talking about this play, what does it, stir up for people, and then what's going to be in your essay, right? We talk about repetens. Editing is obviously something you're going to do. And just a reminder, again, you got to have a variety of the different types. And right now you could create more, right? There's nothing saying you can't do that if you're like, oh, I don't have any creative pieces or I have no informational pieces, right? Create one. It is a requirement, and some of you still need to do this, that research analysis, right? Entering into the larger conversation about your play where you've done you've cited some sources, some outside sources. That's part of this project, right? So that needs to happen. If you haven't done it yet, do it. And then again, just to repeat, just 2 end notes. I know we did end notes for every single piece. I think it's a little bit overkill, to be honest with you. But I want to have some sense of, maybe something we couldn't know just from looking at a piece about your reflections on why you included it, right? And then, as we've always done, works cited, like for the poetry synthesis essay as well. All right, well, I think I'm just going to go back to the calendar here. I think that would put us in pretty good shape here. So we know we're working on getting that letter in there, putting the essay together, and I'll just say using repetens, right? That's the unifier, just so you remember that. And basically by Wednesday, 11:59 Wednesday, I should see a ping in my inbox that you've shared this Google Doc. Make sure it's open to share with me. And I should see one other student shared with it. And you can hold off on doing anything with that until Thursday, because that's when I'll give you kind of a walkthrough on how to use peer review. Okay. I hope that was helpful, team. If you're having questions, you're freaking out, you're unsure of how do I put all these things together in this multi-genre essay, please reach out to me. But also have some confidence in knowing that, not every one of these things is going to look the same. I particularly gave you more freedom in terms of choosing different genres because I want to see variety. So please don't stress out if you feel like mine doesn't look like that or mine looks different. That's part of the point. Okay. All right. We will talk soon. Thank you for your attention.